It's time for Key Collector's Top 5 Books of the Week for April 2nd, 2024. I'm going to look at the books this week, and I'm going to pick the top 5 books based on story, spec value, or cover by to see which ones are worth to pick up this week. In 5th place this week, we have The Immortal Thor, number 9. Now, this is both a spec appearance and a cover appearance. First, we look at the cover. That is a beautiful Alex Ross cover. That is one of his best covers that he's released in a while, with her ripping the journey into mystery. Great, fantastic cover. So that's worth it alone. But the story, it also has the first cameo appearance of the Roxxon Thor. Or they tease him in this issue. He's at the end. He's not really in it. But he's supposed to be a new version of Thor that is coming out in the next issue of Immortal Thor. Now, this story was one of the best stories Marvel released this week. It was pretty good. It has a build-up leading to that, and it's probably the best issue so far in the Immortal Thor storyline. So I would say definitely pick this one up if you're a fan of Thor, if you're a fan of Alex Ross, and if you like specking on new characters, because the Roxxon Thor looks interesting, so it's worth the pickup. Number 4th on our list this week is Deadpool number 1. Now this is a new ongoing series of Deadpool, and it has a first cameo appearance of Death Grip, a new villain, but it's not really worth specking on him because we don't know where it's going to go, but it's worth a check out the new Deadpool series. So the Deadpool series have been, hit or miss. Some have been better than others, but this I did read it. It was pretty good. It's probably one of the better Deadpool series I've read in a long time, so I think it's worth a read and a pickup. We also had some great covers for the Deadpool number 1 with this great foil, which I picked up. It looks fantastic. This Income Lee foil, one of the best covers of the week. Definitely worth a pickup. That cover's cool. We also have the Rob Liefeld variant. That's a really cool cover because Liefeld's the one who created Deadpool, so that's a really cool cover to pick up. We have the action figure variant with Deadpool playing with action figures. It's a Micronauts variant. I think that's pretty cool. That's another cool one. And we have this variant right here, which screams 90s to me. All of it looks 90s. That's a really cool cover as well. So it's worth even if you're not interested in Deadpool's story, it has a lot of cool covers, so they're worth picking up the covers alone, even if you're not interested. But I have to say, the story was pretty good. Now, this week we had the debut of 3 Ghost Machine titles. So I'm going to put them in order from which I think is the most exciting to the least exciting. And third, we have Redcoat. Out of all of them this week, I did not be able to get this one. They did not have it in the store, but I heard this was the weakest out of the 3, but still worthy of a pickup. The Redcoat character, I heard he was more of like a comedic character, but it had an interesting premise, so I heard it was just as good. So this one, it's definitely pick up. Jeff Johns in these Ghost Machine titles, I think are going to be pretty good, so I think it's worth to pick up all of them. So even if you're not a fan of one, I would pick all of them up. So yeah, I would definitely go after Redcoat. Number 2 on our list is Geiger number 1. This is the first ongoing series of Geiger, and it's the return of the series, and it's the debut of Geiger in the Ghost Machine imprint. Now, this one, it's good for new users, but it helps to be familiar with the character, because if you didn't check out the old Geiger volume, I definitely recommend picking it up. And the story was pretty good. Jeff Johns continues where he left off, but most importantly, the art by Gary Frank is absolutely fabulous, so it's worth pick up for the art alone. And the art enhanced the story, and I'm so excited for this. I cannot wait to continue reading it, and read the next issue. So Geiger number 1 is off to a promising start. It's one of the best books to pick up this week, so I definitely will it. But it's not the best book to pick up this week because I have other number 1 in mind. The number 1 book to pick up this week, and hands down the best out of the Ghost Machine books, was Rook Exodus. Let me tell you, this book, the art in this book by Jason Fabok, and the inking by Brad Anderson was absolutely fantastic. I was a fan of them when they did Batman 3 Jokers. Fabok and Anderson did a fantastic job. And while the 3 Jokers wasn't the best story, it was okay. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't great, but the art was one of the best arts I've ever seen, and I read it over and over again just for the art. You see a lot of that art here in Rook Exodus. The art is just 10 out of 10. So I was wowed reading this just by looking at the art. Fantastic art. And this one had the best story, the most unique story about a rook of survival in like a post-apocalyptic world. So I think this one has the most intriguing going forward. This is definitely, out of all the books I read, this was the best book of the week, hands down. And all the books you're going to pick up on Key Collector this week, I am going to say you should pick up this one, because this book was absolutely fantastic. This is my #1 pick this week, and even if you think the story is you're gonna love the art, so it's worth to pick up for the art in general. So that was the top 5 books for Key Collector this week, and Ghost Machine dominated this week, but Ghost Machine I think was the best. So, and even I think you should check them out, even if you're not into the indies, because Jeff Johns is a fantastic writer. They're a fantastic artist. I'm really excited for it, just like he was excited for the Energon universe. So we will come back next week to see what the best books for Key Collector are. In the meantime, I will see you next week. Bye-bye.